It's time for a reality check.
We're here to deconstruct health and fitness trends and provide tangible advice so you can become 1% better with each choice starting today. Welcome back to Reality Check. We are your hosts, Jess and Jill, and we feel a little misunderstood, and we want to tell you guys why. We want to tell you the ways that we think that we are misunderstood as coaches and professionals, and why this isn't just a self-serving podcast, why we think it's important for you as a listener to understand, really, no matter where you're at in your health, fitness journey, life. I don't love the word journey, but where you're at in your prospecting of your health, and just optimizing. And I think that one of the things Jess and I were just talking about before we hit record was that I do often, and we'll dive into specifics, feel pressure like I'm held to a higher standard than everyone else because I'm in my profession, which I do think there is a level of practicing what you preach when this is your job. Like, I can't be telling people to do things that I'm unwilling to do or that I wouldn't do or that I don't believe in, right? Like, obviously there's some logic there that I agree with, but I feel like I am expected to be on and be in shape and have it all together all the time, especially having a presence on social media. And I want to throw a caveat in there. A lot of that is also like self-induced. It's like where you think people are looking at you in the gym when they're really not. Like, people don't actually care, but I feel like that pressure. And again, a lot of that is my own, but we just were kind of listing off some ways that, I don't know, like just thoughts people have about us as, again, fitness professionals and coaches that they're probably.
And some of this is not in our head. It's like, people have messaged us and been like, why are you such a hater about this? And it's like, well, let me give you context then, because the 55 women that I've worked with in the last year and a half, here's their experiences. And this is why it has been so detrimental to them. Like, there's a lot of whys behind it, and there's a lot of context behind any information that we're giving out. It is not like willy-nilly flippant things. And like, we are very much willing to change our perspective on things also, because growth is so important. Not being fixed in thinking we're like, this is not us against anybody. This is us trying to help the most people and get our clients the best outcomes in the most sustainable ways.
Yeah, 100%. So we just want to like list off a couple of things that we have like heard or people have like expressed to us at some point. And I want to say that this is probably the most common for me, is that people have this perception that we've just always, like, we were like born with a muscle and fast metabolism, and this, like, we just don't have to work really hard based on where we're at today. And like, we don't have our own version of struggle in our fitness, our health. Jess was just talking on our recent podcast about how her labs aren't where they want to be because she knows
my sleep sucks.
Shitty sleep habits, right? Like, we all have things that we're actively working on. But so often people think that this is just easy.
Like, it comes easy. Yeah. Or like, you just have a fast metabolism, so it must be nice. One, I hate the phrase, it must be nice, in all areas of my life. I could have a whole episode about that. But like, when I was in high school, even middle school, I remember my mom being like, I forget the phrase, but basically, like, my body fluctuated it was very touchy, right? Like, I could gain 10 pounds or lose 10 pounds pretty quickly. If I wasn't exercising or if I wasn't watching what I was eating, I could gain weight. Have I always been pretty healthy? Yeah, because it's important to me, because I was lucky enough to grow up in a home where they started to eat healthier and healthier and never made it about our weight. I was an athlete, like, I played sports, so I was active a lot, right? So yes, I do not have some I've lost 100 pounds story. But I have built a fast metabolism. And the reason I say that is because I used to gain or lose and gain it back if I went on vacation, or if I took a few days off from the gym, or if I had one day that was more indulgent. Now I can really get away with a lot more because I've spent so many years building muscle and adapting my body to higher calories. So I say that to say you can build yourself a fast metabolism too. Yes, I agree. I have a pretty fast metabolism at this stage in my life based on years and years and years of inputs. But no, that has not always been the case, even though I've never struggled with my weight in the same way that others have, right? I have gone through phases of, oh no, I better eat healthier, I'm going to gain it back type deal.
Yeah. And it is interesting. Like, we're in a healthy place, both metabolically, and people think we've just been there, but it's because we've already done the things that we're asking of you as a client or recommending that you do, because we've
Or that
literally
you don't
gone
do.
down that path, right? Like, we are telling you, hey, skip the chapters that we had to go through of
Yeah.
starving ourselves and thinking fasting is the answer and whatever, and just like
And
do
restricting everything and saying, I can only eat clean. I can only have a half a banana because there's too much sugar. I can, like, these are all things I genuinely did at one point in my life. I'm only going to eat 1,000 to 1,200 calories because I'm 5 feet tall. And that's what I need to eat if I'm going to lose weight. It's like, I am so far removed from that. We want to help protect women from having to go through that because that's dysfunctional.
I mean,
So
I have a bodybuilding history where I used to eat 900 calories a day and do an hour and 15 minutes of cardio 6 or 7 days a week. I was in an awful place metabolically, and that was back in 2015 and 16. I weight rebounded hard, so hard that I gained about 20 pounds in less than 60 days. I was so convinced it wasn't possible to put that much fat on in that short of a time frame that I was delusional about it. I was like, no, that's not body fat. There's no way. Fun fact, it was because I was so metabolically down regulated, and then I went balls to the wall after. And that's a cycle that's really, really hard to break. Conversation for another day if you want to talk through specifics on that. But I've had my fair share of struggles, weight struggles, hating my body, feeling like there was no way out. Having a relationship with food, like people talk about food noise. I would go to barbecues and I would wait for everyone to leave the room so that I could eat more or make a plate, or I would hide food for later. I would binge eat when nobody was looking. And I've talked about this on the podcast before, but I've had all of those struggles, and it is not like a lifelong sentence. And I feel like people think they're the anomaly to like, well, it's not going to work for me. Like, whatever you did isn't going to work. And I promise it is. It's biology, right?
And I think not the opposite story, but like I have a success story of gaining weight, right? I've now gone through 2 pregnancies where I gained between 30 and 35 pounds in both pregnancies of healthy weight. I focused on strength training as much as I could. During one of them, I had to stop for a health thing. But I strength trained as much as I could. I continued to eat protein. I continued to eat at high calories through my pregnancies. And guess what? My metabolism worked really well for me postpartum because I had spent all that time before I got pregnant lifting weights and getting my body adapted to high calories. So just as easy as you can gain it, you can lose it if you're doing it in the right way. If you're not and you're fighting this uphill battle, then it makes it really hard to lose because your body is basically just trying to hold on to extra energy for future you, right? Because it's in this stressed out state. So anyway, not myth, but like ways we are misunderstood is that as if we were just born with fast metabolisms and this and that, as if we didn't put in a lot of years of work and also go through many of the struggles that you guys are going through. I would like to tack on to that we don't understand, and I would agree. I can never understand what it's like to be in somebody's shoes who is severely obese, right? I've never been in those shoes. I can't understand the discomfort that you feel in different social settings. I can't understand that, right? With that said, I am never judging you. And I think that that's another thing where we actually had a client give us feedback like this, like, wow, I'm so surprised. You guys are all like fit. I think her comment was like, a bunch of fit, beautiful girls. I didn't think any of you guys would get me. And it's like, what? Like, this is what we do is all we do is work with women who are having similar struggles. And every single person we work with, we're picking up new tools to add to our toolbox to hopefully support more women who are going through similar things you are, right? Like one tool does not fit all in terms of habit change or whatever roadblocks you're going through. But it's really important that a good coach has experience with people of all walks of life. I remember the first time that I first trained group sessions in the gym before I had just one-on-one clients. And I remember having a group of women who were like, literally laughed at me, and I love them now. Like, we're not getting up and down off the floor to do whatever stupid exercise circuit that you have planned for. Like, this is like, clearly you don't get it, little 24-year-old. And it was like, whoa, I really didn't get it at that point, right? So I think having a coach who has experience with lots of different walks of life is important. But a good coach is never judging you, no matter where you are physique-wise, no matter where you are in your fitness journey, no matter what struggles you're going through. Our job is to meet you where you are and okay, what are the things you are ready and want to work on? My job's to meet you there and help you through that. Never, ever, ever to judge somebody else's choices.
Yeah. And it's funny, like I've had people comment on like things on Instagram that are like, like wait till you hit menopause and you'll get it. And I'm like, do you call the dentist and say, I need a root canal? I need to confirm that you've also had a root canal? Probably not, right? Like you want to know that they're qualified and trained in the things that they're doing. It's just really bizarre to me that you think I have to be in the depths of perimenopause to understand when I've had formal training. And I've also worked with hundreds of clients pre-peri post-menopausal. I get it more than you know. I have not personally felt the hot flashes at night, but it's not that I'm not empathetic to you at all. And I'm not sure where that narrative comes from. So that one gets a little bit frustrating too. Just anything.
And that goes for all I remember that as, well, wait till you have kids. Okay, wait till you have a second kid. Okay, wait till you're 30. And it's like, all right, I'm feeling pretty good at 30. No offense, but it's because of these inputs that I still believe in, right? Okay, misunderstanding number 2 that we have gotten a lot on social media. Well, I know you don't like cardio, or I know you don't like Orange Theory. I know you don't like F45. I know you don't like CrossFit. Rewind. We like exercise. We like movement for health. Okay. So we do not like those things. Again, ask any of my in-person clients. We used to run a mile loop around my gym. I would have them do timed sprints so that we're not losing the skill of those fast twitch muscle fibers sprinting, right? When we don't prefer cardio is when we are having a client who tells us their number one goal is to change their physique or look more toned or lean. Okay. We don't prefer cardio if your goal is muscle building and fat loss. Cardio is not the method for that. Cardio is great for heart health. Any of those classes that I mentioned are great for learning different movement patterns, for social time, for general healthy movement. Movement is good. Movement is healthy. However, most of our clients are coming to us because they say, hey, nothing's working and I want physique change. Help me get that. Our job is then to say, okay, the quickest route from point A to point B is this. If our clients were coming to us and saying, my goal is to run a marathon, damn straight I'd have you running, right? Like the goal matters in terms of what the inputs are going to be that I'm going to suggest. So we don't dislike cardio. We do believe strength training is the most optimal way to build a physique and or lose body fat if you have physique change goals.
Yeah, no. And I mean, I talk a lot of shit on Orange Theory, and it's only because so many people are putting so much emphasis on, well, I go to Orange Theory 6 days a week and my body's
for physique change.
Yeah, like, of course it's not. So we talk a lot about adaptations and things, and not the topic of conversation today. But again, people are like, well,
movement is good.
Like I have people that are like, I know you like strength training, but can I still do cardio? I enjoy it. And I'm like, yeah, dude, you can still go.
Yeah, or yoga or Pilates or whatever the thing is. Yes, please.
Only run and not strength train. I don't agree with it for like your longevity and your health, but like for one, it's always your choice. And two, as long as you're not coming to me and saying, whatever, I don't like my physique or whatever, all of these things, you just have to know the outcome of the things that you're doing.
And that's, I think, where a lot of the disconnect is we have had clients in the past where we have these conversations over and over and they're like, well, why am I just not seeing change? But no, I'm not willing to give up running 10 miles 3 days a week and instead do strength training, or I'm doing all this activity rather than dialing back my activity. No, I'm not willing to increase my calories or my rest, right? Like something's got to give if you're saying that this is your most important goal. If not, that's okay. Change your goal. And that's fine. We just don't want you to have this cognitive dissonance where you're like playing tug of war with yourself and your inputs don't match your outcomes. Okay, next one. That we eat healthy all the time. This is such a misunderstanding. And I think this also stems back to people saying, well, you just have a fast metabolism, because I think my friends see how I eat when we go out and I love all the foods. You can build a fast metabolism to be able to get away with eating, when it's worth it to you, more indulgent foods, right? I try to make it an intention to eat more nutrient dense, healthier foods during my normal work week, where it's like not exciting. It's not a special occasion. There's not a reason to go ham, because then when I want to go out and have nachos with my friends, great. I'm not thinking about my food. If I want to go if we want to order Chinese food in on a Friday night as a family and have a movie night, great. I'm not even thinking about my food. I'm making those worth it. I call it worth it's with my clients. Like your worth it's are going to be different from my worth it's. I'm making those choices strategically so that when I'm really indulging, I'm enjoying every bite. I'm not worrying about calories or nutrients. Like in those moments, I'm having it for the experience. Now you can get away with more and more of those indulgences. The more muscle mass you have on your body, the more you strength train, the more you move. But that's kind of that.
100%. And I think that people, it goes with that statement of like, skinny French, she can eat whatever she wants and I can't, or my husband just cuts soda and loses 10 pounds and I can't. And for one, I never think you should compare yourself to anyone, but two, your friend and your husband probably haven't spent all the years or months dieting that you have, right? And are maybe metabolically in a better place. And it's the same thing for us. Like did you mention like client meals? Have we talked about that on this one where, or not client meals, coaches meals where clients are like, but what do you eat? Like we have some.
We didn't mention that, but that is, yeah. It's like a lot of times people are like, food. They're like, well, I wish you would just tell me what you eat. And I'm like, but why is what I eat relevant to your goals, right? Like what our goal is, and I'm happy to share pictures of what I eat, but like if you have different tastes and you have different traditions with your family and you have different things, like you can still hit your nutrition goals with the foods you like. So let's focus on that because that's what you're going to sustain forever. You're not going to sustain your fitness eating the things I like. Anybody could follow a bodybuilder program and see results, physique results, eating just broccoli and brown rice and chicken. And then they're going to get sick of it and want to throw up when they look at a chicken, right? Like me just telling you what to eat is not an effective method for you to learn long-term sustainable health.
Yeah. And it's the same with like meal plans, right? Like people are like, well, why don't you have meal plans? And I'm like, what does that do for you? You're not going to follow it forever. You have to learn how to make healthy choices and build a well-balanced meal and monitor your intake in whatever way feels good for you, depending on what you're working on. And meal plans just don't do that. Like people want to remove the guesswork. But the point is we want you to think about it and fumble and take some time and put some effort into it. Otherwise, we're not teaching you anything. We're just giving you temporary tools. So, anyway, but ultimately, put Jess and I in the same room and we're
eating. We are eating. I mean, we just did a photo shoot for this podcast and the photographer said, well, what kind of like pictures do you think you need? And I'm like, probably us eating pad thai or sushi together. Like in a real, like usually if we're hanging out, that is one of our preferred activity is finding really good restaurants. Yeah. I think along the same lines is like this misconception that we are more motivated because we like working out. Now, I think there's some truth to this, right? Like I have built a preference to work out because I love how it makes me feel. And I like the outcomes that I'm able to manipulate the outcomes in my own body. Like it feels good confidence wise having control over something like that. So I have grown to enjoy it. There are absolutely times I'm not motivated and I do not want to go to the gym. And it's pretty frequent now that I have 2 little kids and I don't get enough sleep, right? Like, or because I'm busy working all the time, I have to call time to say I need to work times this week. And there's some weeks where I can only get in 1 or 2 days, and in those, if I know I'm just maintaining, I'm not building any more muscle, I'm not changing my physique, right? But we're not more motivated. We just choose these inputs because we like the outcomes associated with it. Like brushing our teeth, right? You brush your teeth because you don't want your teeth to fall out and rot and have cavities. This is maintenance for me. And it's not just maintenance for my physical health, but also for my mental health. Like I don't feel as good when I am not getting some sort of exercise or movement. So I have to prioritize it for myself at least a few days a week.
Yeah, 100%. And people think, we just like love the gym and it's our favorite thing to do. And I also have days where I choose to sit on the couch and then do my workout. And that's not ideal, but like we are also human and we are not perfect and we don't make the best decision every time either. But most of the time we know what is required of us to maintain from a health, a physique, everything standpoint. So it probably is a little bit easier for me to make that hard choice in a lot of those moments because I have lived it and I've experienced it and I know how good it feels already to have a good balance and lift weights and what it can give me on the other side. So it might be a little bit easier for me to make that hard decision on a
to rationalize yourself. Right? Yeah. And that's
that
what
also
we
comes
love.
with experience and practice doing it too.
It is. We love seeing our clients make that journey themselves where they're like, whoa, I went on vacation. I actually missed how it felt. When I got back into the gym, it felt so good. I can't believe I'm saying this about myself now. Like I've had women who are like, I hate working out. And then they're like, this is crazy. I now just work out twice a week and this is part of who I am. And it doesn't feel like something I have to overcome anymore. It's such a cool thing when that starts to happen. And it's not a thing that is intentional. It comes with time because you start to see these associations of how good you feel.
100%. And
oh, go ahead.
no, I was going to say time, like the literal, how much time.
Oh, yeah, you must have. And again, I think there was some validity to this when I was an in-person trainer with no kids and I'm in the gym all the time, right? Well, you have more time to train. Obviously, you're fit, right? My steps were really high. I had a great step count when I was in the gym. I never tracked it at the time, but I know my steps were high because I was on my feet all day long. So yes, it was easier to stay lean versus now I'm on a computer job, right? I'm most of the time face to face with my clients on the computer, or I'm on calls with our coaches, or I'm on Zooms. I have a normal full-time job and I have 2 little kids and I still have a life, like time with my husband, projects around the house. Like this is not, we don't have some like magical thing. It's actually more time. Jill owns this business. She makes the sacrifice of having to show up on social media in order to continue to bring in business. I don't have that responsibility. If I go out of my way to film a workout because you guys are like, hey, I want to see what you're doing, it is out of the kindness of my heart because I enjoy helping people. And I hope that I can continue to influence more people to become healthy and feel good. It takes more time for me to do that. I'm not doing it because I'm like, well, it's part of my job to work out. No, I'm working out. So I happen to film some of them because I know people like seeing that when I do it. So that's kind of where we're at in terms of that one, in terms of like, because we're trainers, we have more time to train. Like, no, not really. And especially not being in-person trainers anymore. It's a very, very different dynamic. And when I was an in-person trainer, again, I think, yeah, I was demonstrating a heavy deadlift a few times a day. So even if I didn't get a workout in, yes, my body was getting more reps, more volume per week without really trying as hard. Being an online coach, it's just like any other full-time computer job.
Right. Yeah, I know. I think people think that the same about me too. And even though it is a requirement for me from a marketing and a business standpoint, filming
it's part of your job
and recording workouts is also very hard and very annoying. It pisses people off in the gym sometimes. Like
you have to do it certain times. Yeah.
I just said to somebody on a flight recently, and I was like fully aware that this is a millennial privileged first world problem statement I'm about to make. Sometimes I just want to eat my food and not take a picture, or for someone to ask me what the macros
like delete social media. Yeah.
And like, that's also like, it's the same thing with celebrities when they're like, damn, I just want to go to a store and like not be bothered. And it's like, oh, easy for you to say, but it's like, it's just that their version of that, right? Like, who are we to say what bothers them and what doesn't? Like, they still have feelings. So I was like, yeah, sometimes I just want to like eat my food and not think about like, should I post this? Do I need to take a picture of this? Do I remember the macros of this? And again, fully aware that's a first world problem, right? But it is extremely time consuming, and it is frustrating for my family too, that they're like, you just fucking put your phone down and like eat your food with us. So it's our own version of that, right? It's just different for everyone.
Enter me working for Jill, where I get to just show up on social media whenever I feel like it. And then you don't hear from me for 3 months. And then I'm like, I'm just living life. That's why you're not hearing from me. And then something strikes and I decide I want to post again. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we have more time to train, not particularly. Also, we are not training all the time. I touched on this already, but like I train right now at this phase of my life, a good week. Most weeks I try to aim for 3 lifts a week. I do have to incorporate intentional mobility more now that I'm at a desk job versus when I was in person, because I'm hunched over, forward head, looking at my phone, looking at my computer. I have to incorporate that more intentionally, but I'm lifting 2 to 3 times a week through good, like less busy seasons of life. 4 is my ideal. If I ever get a 5th bonus, wow, what a treat. Maybe I'm doing yoga or sprints or something fun. Okay. I guess this kind of touches on all of what we just said, but like, I think a lot of people don't think we believe in balance. They think like, well, you just talk about balance, but you eat perfect all the time. Or I've heard people say like, well, I'm not going to eat like like that stuff you eat. And I'm like, that's fine. You don't have to have kale with your thing. Like pick another fruit or vegetable. You don't have to eat like me, right? Let's find some things you do like. So we absolutely live balance. And I do think I think this misunderstanding is because there's a lot of coaches who are extreme, who are still going through these phases that we've gone through, right? Of learning balance, because they are at this other end of the pendulum where they're dysfunctional in their relationship with food and exercise, because they think, well, I have all, like, we all have the same time in 24 hours in a day. And if I can work out 5 days a week, so can you. If I can track every ounce of all my food, so can you. And it's like, hold on, that's another type of dysfunctional, right? Like we might track so that we can learn about our food, but that shouldn't be the expectation forever. Like I think if you have a coach who really is a good coach and well-versed in educating, but also eventually teaching you how to live with more intuitively eating, they should themselves be at a place where they feel comfortable in their body, while also being okay to work on it, but feel comfortable in their body and know how to live balance also. Because if you don't know how to live it yourself as a coach, how in the world are you going to teach others? And again, there's a lot of coaches I know who are like, oh yeah, I've been at maintenance at 1700 for 1 year. And I'm like, well, if your maintenance is 1700 and that's your like high point, what are you bringing your clients down to when they're in a deficit? Like they must be really, really hungry. Like, so I think that's just, again, we have a whole episode on like red flags in coaches. I don't think that they are doing anything intentionally malicious. I think they're just at that point in their journey where they really haven't found that balance yet. So anyway, if you ever go out to eat with me and Jill, you'll see.
Yeah. 2-plate girl, always over here. No, I think it's just generally speaking that it's easier, or that we don't have a lot of the same barriers. And I do think it's a fair assessment that we are further along in our health journey. And it's just like when you're a kid and your mom tells you to start brushing your teeth, right? You're not motivated or remembering every morning and every night to brush your teeth as a kid. But as you get older, it's just what you do, right? It's just like ingrained in you. And when you're in the beginning of a fitness journey, let's say like you're just starting with eating more protein, you feel like you're obsessing over it and that's all you think about. And you have to be so intentional and you're learning what foods have more protein and not. I agree. That's way easier for me to do right now, right? I just logged the rest of my food for today and I'm at 160 grams of protein, which is more than I would generally eat in a day, a little bit, but I didn't have to think about that. It's not intentional. I just naturally choose foods and meals and build plates the way that I need to, right? Because it is more second nature to me now. So I think it's all relative, and it's just understanding that part of the process and respecting where you're at in that process too. And that's the only reason that it's any of this would be easier for us as trainers and health.
It's just more reps. We put in more reps and more practice. Another misunderstanding is that we are, and again, this is one I've gotten before on my Instagram, we are anti-deficit or anti-supplement or anti-peptide or anti-whatever, insert whatever tool here. No, we're not. We are pro-context, because it's very important what the context is. And again, the reason I might come across as anti-diet is because so many women are using and abusing it in the wrong place when they really have no business dieting, and they haven't built the foundations yet to actually be healthy, and they have these dysfunctional relationships with food. And then they sign up to coach with us and they're like, I've been dieting for 25 years and now my metabolism's in the tank and I'm not losing weight at these low calorie amount. And now we have to dig ourselves out of this hole for a year before their physique will change at all. So it's like unwinding these people who have been misled by other people in our industry and told you have to eat less and move more and eat less and move more and eat less and move more. And eventually your body adapts and you're just stuck. So when you hear us talking like that, it's because all day long, all we're doing is talking to these women who have these horribly dysfunctional relationships with their bodies and their food and the scale. And they have full on emotional meltdowns if the scale moves by 1 pound. And it's like, well, wait, that was at 5 p.m. and that was at 8 a.m. Obviously, it's because there's food in your stomach now, right? Like it could be the most logical reason that the scale went up, but there's such an emotional tie to it because of years and years and years of this negative and dysfunctional conditioning. So when I sound really passionate about what I'm talking about, it's because I am really passionate about it, right? It's not because I'm dogging anybody for utilizing these things. I will happily walk a client through a deficit and help them lose body fat and feel great in their skin, right? Like we are not anti any of these things. It's all about the context that it's presented in, because so many people are doing it in the wrong way, and it really is detrimental health-wise and metabolically when not applied appropriately.
Yeah. And again, Jess said this, I think, in the beginning of the episode, but I want to reiterate that we are not judging you or expecting you to just hit 150 grams of protein, to just know how to lift with progressive overload and proper form in the gym 3 days a week and hit it consistently when you've done it 0 days a week for the last 6 months. We don't expect that of you, right? We're not holding, we're meeting you where you're at, and we are holding you to a higher standard and here to challenge and push you, but in a realistic way, right? Like, we're starting small and we're compounding over time. So a good coach will do that. A good coach will never make you feel like you're falling short. We will challenge you and we will say, hey, you said you wanted to meet this standard and you're not meeting it, right? Do we need to reevaluate? We're not like you suck because you said you would do this and you didn't. So I think that it's important to know the difference. And I also know and respect that that's a really hard thing to determine and figure out if you are looking to hire a coach, because it's a really hard, tough question and thing to address and ask with somebody, because a lot of times, of course, people are going to say, yeah.
Well, they say the right things. And then, and we've seen that firsthand with a lot of different coaches where they're really good at marketing and they're really good at their Instagrams. And then their coaching on the back end is like, oh, wait, I'm concerned about your relationship with food. Are you really giving other people advice? So anyway, in terms of things that we feel misunderstood on, if there is a topic like this that you're like, I don't know, why are you guys against this? Or why don't you like this or that? Shoot us a message. Let's talk about it. I honestly feel like any of my clients who have asked these things understand the full context and understand this stuff. Lots of people that I am just acquaintances with who message me and say, hey, I know you don't love Pilates, but what about, and I'm like, oh, no, I don't dislike Pilates. And then we have a conversation about it and they understand the context, right? So if you are in doubt, let's have a conversation about the nuance behind this stuff. Again, we're doing the best that we can to share information just to help women based on the population that we work with day to day. And really our goal is to provide the best information to help people stay fit and stay healthy, not just lose weight quick or follow shiny objects.
Yep, 100%. Any other misunderstandings that you want to clear up?
I'm sure we'll think of some once we wrap up here. If you guys think of anything else that you want to hear, we love our Ask Me Anything episodes. We love our unhinged episodes. If you ever want us to just be off the cuff without notes, please send us topic ideas, because we just get joy with just bullshitting back and forth. But yeah, message us if you guys think of other episodes you'd like to hear. And thank you for listening.